Residency Estate is a gated community located in Old Yundum, proudly developed by Swami India, perfect for all looking for a quiet life with luxury amenities within an enclosed setting. When talking about the benefits of living in a gated community, safety and security is top on the list. They allow extra privacy, take away the hustle of unwelcome solicitors, and create a safe haven for children to play in a trusted environment without traffic or speedy vehicles. A great sense of community develops through the meeting at a controlled communal leisure facilities, offering an integrated lifestyle. A green environment and well-managed communal areas are keys to higher home standards, elevated quality of life, and better property value should you consider home reinvestment in the future. Added to all is the location, just next to the airport and reconstructed main road, yet tucked in the tranquility of nature. Our purpose is one, your satisfaction. Contact us. Let us help you build your dream home in the Gambia.
This season on Kerr Fatou.
The reason I have always called for a national dialogue is because a government must be responsive to the needs of its people.
Fatou.
Tell you one thing, if me as an individual, if I know that there is somebody that I definitely wrong, I will be bold enough. I will go to the person. I will appeal to him and apologize him.
Make decision today, because I don't make decisions lightly. I investigate, I do my research, I get the facts, I call the experts, I summon meetings, I get the technicians, then I reflect and I make a decision.
Why did you lose the election?
Well, we lost the election because of cheating and registration. We had evidence that people didn't register before the opening of the registration.
Hello and welcome to another edition of our show. It's another Thursday, and I want to welcome you all back here, from the comfort of my home. Of course, I'm online today, so I am home. I'm not in the studio, but I want to welcome you all on another edition of our show, Kerr Fatou. Of course, today I will be talking to Mustapha Darboe all the way from Swiss. We will be talking about the ongoing trial of the former Minister of Interior, Usman Sonko. I'm sure you guys have been seeing the reports coming out from the trial. We have a lot of Gambians testifying. So Mustapha will be on the show as well. Of course, I'm wearing the Gambian jersey. It's AFCON and the Gambia is participating right now. Our team are in Yamoussoukro, and I will be joined by Babucarr, Camara, the Director of Communication, and we will be talking about football. We were looking at the preparedness of the team. How are they right now? What is the mindset? And of course, I want to welcome our newest partners, Yono Wallet. Yono Wallet is the newest money app, mobile money app in the country. All you need to do is download the app on your Apple Store or from your Google Store, and Yono Wallet, and you should be able to register as soon as possible. You can use the app to buy cash power, transfer money to somebody, and Yono has branches all over the country. They have over 100 branches. So next week I'll be doing some giveaways. So make sure by next week, if you are in the Gambia, of course, those in the diaspora, we will be, you will be always also be able to access the Yono Wallet. But for now, we're limiting it to Gambia, so because it's just starting now. So what I want you, especially if you're following Kerr Fatou and you're supporting Kerr Fatou, some of our partners who have been supporting us. So Yono is one of them, and this just signed on my show. And I want to thank Yono, the entire management, for coming on this show as well. We want to thank them. Of course, they have been on other shows as well, but they are also on this show now. So we want to thank them. So Yono Wallet is the new baby in town. You don't have to carry money around. All you need to do is have money in your wallet. Whenever you want to buy cash power, you want to buy credit, you want to send money to somebody in the village, everywhere. Even if you want to send money to Kia or Badibu, you can send it through Yono Wallet. So we'll be telling you more about the Yono Wallet later on. But let me bring in Babucarr, Camara, and Mustapha if they're available, Charles. Babucarr, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Fatou. Good to be on the show again. It's a little bit unfortunate, though. I have to share a studio with a Baboucar.
I wanted to say Babucarr, I'm sorry, I wanted to say you can send money all the way in Badibu, Salikenya, and I said Kia. I don't know why I said that, but it's all the way in Badibu, Salikenya. That's the most remote village in the Gambia. So
the most backward village in the Gambia, yes.
Mustapha, you know what Mustapha told me the other day we were talking. I'm like, are you for real? Really this soon? You're telling me Allah Banko? So he's like, he doesn't even know what's going on here. Mustapha, welcome to the show. How is the Swiss weather treating you?
It's bad, especially for me. I don't like cold, but I'm managing. I just go to court and come to my house, so I'm surviving.
You're not going around to see town, just do some coffee and all this stuff? You're not doing that?
I just have a small place around my place. There is a castle here around my area. This is a mountainous area, so there is a lot of places you can go around. It's also a historical settlement, so I could go around a number of places, but it's pretty cold. And me, I think I've only visited one place. Other than that, I just go to the supermarket, get some stuff, and come back.
I can imagine you are from Malibu, so that's going to be a problem for you. Thank you for joining us. Babucarr, let's start with football first. Mustapha, the Gambia is in the AFCON. We had our first game against the Teranga. There was a lot of disappointment for us, a lot of the fans out here, and I'm sure the same for the players themselves. Babucarr, when we lost to Senegal, we had a conversation. Me and you had a conversation before the game, and we talked about how the boys are preparing for this game, what this means for us, our relationship, right? There was a lot of banter on the social media. And unfortunately, the Senegalese took it. They won again. They keep winning. Why? What is going on, Babucarr?
Well, thank you, Fatou. Let me take this opportunity to welcome my brother on this show. Just that he went to Switzerland at the wrong time. But that aside, I think the scoreline was a bit flattery, in the sense that that was one of the best performances I have seen collectively from a Gambian national team for a very, very long time. I think I would say for more than 2 years. That was our quarterfinal second round meeting with Guinea Conakry in the same competition 2 years ago. Well, we considered an avoidable goal very early into the game, but then after that, the stadium actually woke up, and the press they tried really, really well. But the turning point of that match, I think, came just before halftime when the Ava given red card to Ibu Adams, had an influence on the game. I mean, correctly so, because it was a red card. Definitely, after looking at the footages, in fact, when I saw the goal, the referee consulting VAR, I think I knew straight away that he was in trouble because the referee had missed the action. But then the Senegalese, the Senegalese coach and the entire technical team, they were having their own technology that they were using to watch the match and saw the replay. So they protested, and then the referee consulted the VAR and he gave a red card. But I think if not for that red card, with the performance of the team that particular day, if not for the numerical disadvantage, it would have been very, very, very tough for Senegal to win that game. But the match is now behind us. We have to put our acts together and ensure that we win tomorrow against Guinea Conakry if we want to stay longer here in Ivory Coast.
And how is the preparation for that? I said this. I posted this video that the Guineans posted when we played against them last time. We won. And before this, you also reminded me that every time we played against Guinea, we won. And this particular video, when we won last AFCON, there were supporters who were saying, Petite Gambia, like small Gambia. They couldn't believe it. And they're saying that cannot repeat again. That will not repeat. That will not happen again. What is the level of preparedness for tomorrow's game?
The boys are very prepared. But before I come to the level of preparation, Fado, I want to give a little bit of a historical background between the Gambia and Guinea Conakry. Yes, Guinea may have underrated us. We may be petty Gambia. They have been seasonal campaigners at the Africa Cup of Nations. We went to our first AFCON and defeated them. But when you look at the Gambia and Guinea, we've played for 25 times amongst us. During the time of the America Cabral international friendlies and competitions as well. And out of these 25 matches that we played, the difference between these two teams, Fatou, is very, very marginal. Because Guinea won 7 out of the 25 contests, Gambia won 6, and there were 12 draws between these two teams. And also, the last time the Guinea Conakry actually defeated Gambia was all the way back in 2007. So it's been 17 years. During the time of Pascal Fainduno, they defeated the Gambia. This was a time when the likes of Jato Cisse and Sefo Soli were playing. You remember Sefo Soli was playing for Preston North, and I remember he was, he was one of the players to come out of that game with a very, very, very low score. He came under some attack because it was this mistake that led to the opening goal. It was evenly balanced at the time until when he made. He slipped, and Pascal Fainduno scored, and they defeated us 2-0. But that same year, that was all the way back in March of 2007. That same year, under former coach Jose Martinez, we went to Guinea.
Babucarr is breaking very badly. Oh, okay, go ahead.
Am I breaking? Hello, did you say I am breaking?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So like I was saying, Guinea Conakry did not beat Gambia in 17 good years. The last time they defeated us was all the way back in 2007. They won 2-0 in Banjul, the return leg. This was an AFCON qualifiers for the 2008 Africa Cup of Nations. We played in Guinea Conakry in June of the same year. We drew 2-2. In fact, they were leading 2-0 until in the dying moments, Gambia scored 2 goals. We drew. So after that, the last 4 matches between these two teams, actually, Gambia has the upper hand with 2 wins. 5 years ago, we played with them in an international friendly. Paul Put was the coach. This match was played in June of 2019 in Marrakech, Morocco. We won by a goal to nil, scored by Ibrahim Assohna. So Guinea may have, they may underrate Gambia, but when you look at the statistics between these two teams, you realize that, it is definitely very, very, very tight. And our biggest win against them was in the America Cabral Zone 2 in 1983. Gambia beat Guinea-Conakry 4-1. So, yes. And like I was saying, 25 matches between these two teams, 7 wins for Guinea, 6 wins for Gambia, and 12 draws. So, when you look at the difference between us, it's very marginal.
But going into this game, Guinea are coming in with a point. We are coming in with no point, and they might be more comfortable getting into this game. Would you think that would affect us psychologically? Because we are going there to say it's a do or die. We gotta win this. And sometimes that doesn't work well for a team. Do you think that's something that can affect the boys?
I don't think so. I think all these boys are professionals and they are very, very prepared for this game. But then also, if you look at this team also, Fatou, this is a team that definitely thrives under pressure. And yes, they may be under pressure right now, I think so. Because failure to win against Guinea-Conakry tomorrow could definitely put our chances of qualifying to the second round in jeopardy. Because then that would mean we have to win against Cameroon. And, the way things are shaping up, of course, after tomorrow's matches, we will understand the group is going to take shape, but it will become very, very complicated for us. So we are not underestimating Guinea. We know Guinea is a battered country. They are angry that we defeated them in the last AFCON, 1-0, qualified to the last 8. So they will want to come for revenge, but that is also an extra motivation for the Gambia. But we also have to understand that in as much as we want to continue to keep staying here as long as we can, the Gambia has definitely risen the bar so high in our first appearance. Me and you had a chat, and I was telling you, this is Guinea-Bissau's 4th appearance in the Africa Cup of Nations, and they are yet to win a single game. Mauritania as well. This is their 3rd appearance in the Africa Cup of Nations. They are yet to win a single game. Namibia, this is their 4th appearance in the Africa Cup of Nations. They got their 1st and so far only win yesterday. So you understand. So, and in our first appearance, we won 3 matches. So the bar is very, very high. The expectations are high. Of course, it's a pressure, but equally an extra motivation for the team. So hopefully, with what I have seen in training, I know that the coach will come with some tactical changes. And anybody who is thinking that he's going for a defensive approach, you are in for a rude awakening, because, of course, he's not going to go all out. Football is all about tactics, but equally, he is going to put up a team tomorrow to win this match against Guinea-Conakry. He's not going to sit back.
But last match, we didn't have the Jallo guy. What's the name? Is it? He was Abdoulaye Jallo. He's one of our star players who was very good. He was not on because he had a yellow card. The 2 of them had yellow cards, right? We were not expecting Yankuba. Yeah, we were not expecting Yankuba, but fortunately he came on, and we were so excited about that. What is the status of how many yellow cards do we have? What are we going into this game having everybody prepared? I know someone was also a little sick. What is the status of their fitness, and also when it comes to cards? Okay,
I'll break it down to you in a very, very simple way. Now, during the qualifiers, Gambia played 8 matches because we started in the preliminaries against Chad. Yeah. So then from there, we went into the group stage proper. So in the group stage proper, once you get 2 yellow cards in the competition, then you miss the next match, the next competitive match. So these players, unfortunately for Ibrahim Koli and Abdoulaye Jallo, they got their yellow cards against Congo Brazzaville, which was our final qualification match. So they carried that suspension into the AFCON qualifiers. They would have served the suspension against Burundi, but these were 2 different competitions. We played Burundi in the World Cup qualifier. If it was also a CAF qualifier, it would have overlapped into that. But no, because they are 2 separate competitions, they were eligible for that. But it's an African Cup of Nations competition, and they got it through during their qualifiers. That is why they missed the 4th game. However, all those players who got 1 yellow card but never on suspension have all come into this competition with a clean slate. So it's like all the players who played, as long as you are not you did not carry a suspension into the competition, you come with a clean slate. The cards are waived for you. Yeah, it is only when you are having a suspension you have to serve. So they are all clear now, except the yellow cards that we are given. But then if you have 2 yellow cards also in this competition, then you miss the next match. You understand? If it happens to be, if that second yellow card happens to be your final match in the competition, then the next African qualifiers, the first one, you are going to miss it. So this is how it works. For Ibu Adams, he received a direct red card and he has been suspended for 2 matches. So for him, he can no longer play again until we qualify for the second round of the competition. He's definitely out tomorrow and he's also out on Tuesday against Cameroon. So this is it. When it comes to the player who was sick, this is Yusuf Abob. Yusuf Abob is a midfielder. He had malaria while we were in Banjul. He came with it here. That really weakened him because he was definitely in contention for one of the players that was going to start against Senegal because he was very, very lively, and brilliant, during the trainings throughout in Saudi Arabia. But unfortunately, he got malaria and this weakened him. But he has definitely started group training and he is going to be in contention for selection. Whether he's going to start, I am not sure about that again. But I know that he is available to the coach. And Ibrahim Akoli is also available. And young Ablai Jallo also is available. And interestingly, Fatou, we have in all the matches that the Gambia has lost in the Africa Cup of Nations, Ablai Jallo did not play these matches. So yes, so against Cameroon in the last AFCON, he missed out injury and we lost. That was our first defeat in the Africa Cup of Nations, and we went home. Again, this is our second defeat against Senegal. He missed out. But all the other matches that we failed to lose, he has played. So let's hope that this is going to be a good omen. That
can we say that might be a replica of him playing and are we winning? Can we see a scenario like that tomorrow?
Hopefully, and make no mistake, Fatou. Abla is one of the most important players in this team. He is one of the most important players in this team, and his coming against Guinea is definitely going to be an extra boost, for the team.
And I've seen a lot of people complain that the coach is always going so defensive instead of putting an attack. Because you need to score. I mean, I tell people I'm not a football. I'm just a fan, and I don't know the details of all of these things. The coach knows what he does in the field. But at some point, it has gotten to a point where we want to win. We want to win. Do you think we are going to see a little difference in his, what he brings on tomorrow compared to what he has been doing, what he's known for, to be too defensive? Why are we always defensive? We are looking to win.
Fatou, very good question. This is something that even came out today in the press conference. A Gambian journalist asked the coach that the strength of his team is that they do not concede many goals. But over the last 3 matches alone, we have conceded 8 goals, and these are all competitions. And honestly, the coach gave a fantastic response because, these were his words, that the question was very funny because these were the same people who were always calling for Gambia to attack. When we defeated Tunisia 1-0, they thought if we had attacked more, we could have won 3-0. When we defeated Guinea 2, they thought if we had attacked all out, we could have won 3-0. But then the same people saying we should attack, and we attacked against Senegal, and we lost. So you understand. And the most important thing in football also, Fatou, is the result. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many % of possession you got in a match, how many shots on target, how many posts that you hit. The most important statistics in a football match is goal and the points. So for me, if it is the defensive approach that is going to give us the win, hey, come on, why not, Fatou? Because what is the point of entertaining the public when you don't get a result? It doesn't make any sense. Nobody remembers the beautiful football you play. The last AFCON we went there against Mauritania, against Guinea, and in fact, the best match that we had in the last AFCON was against Guinea-Conakry. In all the other matches in the group stages, we we played a defensive approach and we won. And everybody's talking about the Gambian story. But the moment the public perception influence the minds of the players, then there becomes a problem, because they don't play. If you don't play to the tactics of the coach, then there is a tendency that we will lose. And we should, we have to be realistic also. We have to know our own strengths and weaknesses. You understand? I mean, no disrespect to any Gambian player, but against Senegal, there were 4 players playing in the Premier League who are all stars in their respective teams in the Premier League that sat on the bench against Senegal. This is Idrissa Gana Gueye of Everton, Nicholas Jackson of Chelsea, Sekou Kouyaté of Nottingham Forest, and there was also Pape Sarr of Tottenham Hotspur. And these are all starters. So when you look at the caliber of these players, you have to play a tactic to beat them. It's not as if you want to come and play to their strength, because their strength, you have to look at your own strength and your weaknesses. And look at Senegal, what they did. Senegal did not come out to dominate Gambia entirely. Senegal set up to win that match. So sometimes, in as much as you want to attack, you have to be sensible about it.
You're right. At some point, I even posted on my page, I'm like, the boys are really playing well. We saw the boys played good football. It was just the finishing. So sometimes you're right. It's just more about scoring. It's not about playing good football. You just want the desired goal. Yeah.
Yes. They played good football. They entertained you. But at the end of the day, they left you heartbroken, didn't they? Because they couldn't. But the last AFCON, they did not play good games. In terms of dominating possession, but they brought delight and joy to the hearts of every Gambian, and that had captured the admiration of the whole world. You understand? So, in as much as we want to entertain, we also have to understand that your performance, your progress in a competition is what people are going to remember you for, not the possession that you won. So we have to be very, very mindful of that.
Okay. Now, how are the fans doing? We know we have a lot of fans there. I see the video of Iliman, the #1 Scorpion fan, on all international media on Senegal. How sad he was when Gambia was losing to Senegal, and we saw the vibrant Scorpion supporters, entertaining the players up to the last dying minute. How are they? How have they been keeping up? What is the mood at the hotel today, as we prepare for tomorrow's game?
Well, for us and the fans, we are not at the same hotel. Yes. We are in different hotels. So we are the hotel the parliamentarian hotel that has been arranged for us by CAF. So the fans is a special arrangement. But I know that, yes, everyone was disappointed. But then we all also went home satisfied with the fact that the boys, they gave they are all, despite having to play with a numerical disadvantage for more than for 50% of the game. But I've interacted with a couple of them as well. They have definitely put that behind them, and they are hopefully going to be. I mean, it's not a matter of even hopefully. They are definitely prepared to be behind the team. We came with the Scorpions fans club from the Gambia, and I understand some other fans also reached Yamoussoukro a couple of days ago. These were fans that were intercepted in Mali, but they have also arrived. But equally, there will also be 250 Gambians who will come from Abidjan. These are Gambians based in here. They will be transported by bus, and they will be here for the game as well. So there's going to be a lot of Gambian, presence at the stadium. But also, Guinea bought about, the last time we checked, they bought 13,000 tickets already for this particular match. So every Guinean, oh yes. Every Guinean is looking forward to this match. Guinea is not going to take this match lightly, because they are still battered. They are still bruised by the fact that Petit Gambia defeated them in the last AFCON. A very, very long time since they reached the quarterfinals of the Africa Cup of Nations. And they were also, Guinea is no smooth, it's not going to be a pushover, they are one of the strongest sides in the competition. They have the best striker right now in Africa. Arguably even in the world, Sekou Guirassy, who plays for Stuttgart in the German Bundesliga, scoring 14 goals. and he did not play the last match against Cameroon, and they were in control of that particular match until when they also got a red card. But they could have won that game if they played with 11 men also. So we cannot also underestimate them. In as much as Gambia also, have a very good record, when it comes to Guinea-Conakry, we may have not lost to them in 17 years, but we cannot also take them for granted, because when you look at the level of the two teams, Guinea is 80, in the FIFA World Ranking there, we are 126, so it's about more than 40 places, between us. So we cannot underestimate them, definitely. They have players playing in top leagues, and in top teams across the world.
Wow, interesting. That would be interesting. We look forward to that. We pray that the team wins and we can all come back to join you guys in Abidjan when you go to the second round. So we are all looking forward to that. Lamin Cham says, if the team goes to the second round, we will definitely go. We're waiting and praying for that so that we can join you. So, but before we go, I saw yesterday that the captain Omar Colley was presented with a number 50 jersey. I think it was said that he capped 50 times for the national team. That is remarkable. And tell us a little about that before we let you go.
Interesting, Fatou. As far as records are there, because I know that some people argue that there are players that played more matches than Omar Colley for the national team. But then the most important thing is that it's very, very unfortunate and very sad that no Gambian can be able to tell you, Biri, the number of matches that he plays for the Gambia, the number of matches, the number of goals that he scored for the Gambia. And this is a player who played for the Gambia for 2 decades. For 20 years, he has been playing for the Gambia national team. But no one can tell you how many matches he played. There is no record. It's only in recent history. It's only in recent history. But when we took over the leadership of the Gambia Football Federation in 2014, that is the time we started to document the number of matches that players have played. So, interestingly, as far as record is concerned, I'm sure the older generation is going to contest this, but as I said, they cannot also come up with any figure. So, as far as record is concerned, Omar Colley has played more games for the Gambia than any other player, which is 50. He played his 50th match for the Gambia against Senegal, on Monday. So, yeah. But now, like I said, the recent generation of players at the federation, we have records of who played which game, when they made their debut. All the information is there now, but it was not there before. So that is very unfortunate. Yesterday I got a message from someone who was contesting that fact, but he cannot come up with any figure, like I said. So as far as written record is concerned, Omar Colley will go down in history as the most capped player for the Gambia, unless and until someone, look at my sister smiling because it's the brother we're talking about here.
It's my brother and he's from Lemon and we are so proud of him. We always make history.
Right, man. And this is somebody who has not stopped playing.
No. Yeah.
Even his game against Senegal, he was everywhere. Like I call him the Rock of Gibraltar. He was everywhere. So Omar still have few more years ahead of him to play, definitely. So he will keep extending that record. Honestly speaking. At some point, it used to be Pamoudou Diagne, but he broke that record against Mali when he became the Gambia's most capped player. And coincidentally, that game Gambia won 1-0. Guess who scored the goal? Omar Colley.
Wow.
So now he has extended that record, appearance record, by four games. And he still has
OJ. We call him OJ back home. We call him OJ. So sometimes I call him OJ and people will say, who is OJ? We call him OJ in Lemon. So congratulations, OJ. We are so proud of you. And Babucarr, final message.
Before your final message, I think it's important you tell your viewers also that Omar Colley originally is from Kiankolior. Lamin Cham will be happy about that.
Actually, me and Lavin were arguing. Lavin said, no, about the Kian and Kaiko, Alamola with the Kian. I will look at Lamen. So, case closed. Alamola with the Kian. Alamola with the Kian, I will look at Lamen. So, he's from Lamen. No, no argument here. I told Lavin Jam that. We already had that argument. You guys cannot take him from us. He's from Lamen.
If that is the basis, then I also refuse to agree that Yankuba Minde is from Badibu. Because he is very from Badibu, but he was born and brought up in Bakote then.
I accept that. The Badibunkers, I'm not arguing for the Badibunkers. But Babucarr, what's your final message to the Gambian fans, to the entire Gambian people? A lot of us are just sitting on the edge. We are worried, we are concerned, we want the players to win. We want the flag to fly higher than where we are right now. What is your message from the entire GFF and the team?
I would want to say this in Mandinka.
Yeah.
But Gambia be Daniel and men Nawala Minitako, rally behind the team. A team of support and work a team of fane. Because science I intend the Al Halal to me alonko. Timo Ning, last Afcon Ning, Bamen setting fire height a bakele. And we all know the realities in the Gambia. Gambia is currently a very, very polarized society. People have divergent views in many things. But the only one thing, it is uniting all Gambians. Every Gambian is speaking the same language when it comes to that is football. At least we have forgotten about all the differences and all the problems we have in our country these past few days. All we talk about is football, 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 football. Now look at the disappointment on everyone's face when we lost against Senegal. So, Samamu Arjumol, Majumu Talense Surolde, in Bedar na Jamolto, and then many Vantara Church, Bengambulo Laman Satalai, Urkomoko Timoning, I win, Isajako, that joy, Mianonko, Akasaman Gamma football, old Gambian say, I think. I mean, when you look at it, Fatou, even people that, in my wildest imagination, never thought that they are into football. They are all, rooting for the Gambia, especially against Senegal. And you could, I have had, reports, feedbacks back home that, a lot of them were even very, very disappointed. Some of them did not even eat. So you could see the emotional attachment to their national team. So, and they were all disappointed. And hopefully we will be able to put these smiles back on every Gambian's face tomorrow so that they can go and meet up at Westfield Monument and celebrate all the way into the night. It's going to be a weekend, innit? Was that electricity again, Fatou?
Babucarr, sorry, I lost. No, it's not. It's the connection. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. No. Yes, go ahead. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like I was wrapping up, I was saying, hopefully, that everybody rallies behind the team, and we all pray for the team for a win, so that they can be able to put smile back on the faces of every Gambian. Because football is the only thing that is uniting us right now as a country. And the more our national team continues to win, the more united we continue to be. And that's what that's our country is.
Yeah. We want to thank you so much for joining us, and on behalf of the entire nation, we want to say that Mbedwala Mobe, I'm sure Gambia Mobe will do because so much, inshallah, we want to win and because we want to stay in this tournament. And I know we will stay in this tournament. Petite Gambia will repeat what we did in the last AFCON. And on behalf of the entire Gambia, we want to send our regards through you to the president of the GFF, to the minister who is there with the team, and the entire team, management and team, and the coach. We wish you all the best, Babucarr. Thank you very much for joining us. And we will have you again, if we need to update in the future. Thank you so much, Babucarr.
Thank you, Fatou. Thank you.
Thank you. And of course, now let's have Mustapha Darboe to talk about what is happening in Swiss. Mustapha, welcome back to the show. You don't know anything about football, so I think football and
well, interestingly, until recently, I used to watch football. Anyway, the truth is that yes, I have no professional knowledge.
Did you say you?
Yes, I don't anymore. I don't even watch Gambia's game anyway. But
no, did you say?
Yeah. Yes, I used to. But Gambia is in my heart wherever I go, and my prayers are with all of them, and my best wishes. No, I mean, I was in the court, and I had it on my phone screen, and I know that a game was playing, but I could barely make up who is kicking football or who is not. I had no idea about the score lines. I just saw people on Facebook complaining here and there. But I think that's the beauty of it. I mean, they fought a good fight, and sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. That's the nature of things. Yeah.
Now, what is happening? I know the court, the trial has started. You've been sending us stories, and it's been amazing. And the readers are getting first-hand knowledge what is happening in the courthouse. The testimonies. I read the yesterday's story. It's crazy. Tell us. You've been there for a week. It's been a week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Take us through as to what is happening in the courtroom right now. Concerning Usman Sonko's trial, the former interior minister.
Okay, so Usman's trial actually began on January 8th. So it's about 2 weeks tomorrow, maybe 10 days tomorrow. And so Usman faces crimes against humanity.
Sound is not coming good with me. Is Mustapha's sound coming good? Because it's not coming good with me. Can you guys tell me if Mustapha is coming very well? I don't know whether it's me or him. It sounds like, All right, go ahead. Mustapha, are you connected to our Wi-Fi? Your internet should be good. Okay, they said it's okay. Then it's my internet.
Yes, I'm in Switzerland, but I am in a place that is, I think, in a mountain area. So there are people saying internet is actually not very, very strong here. But I think it's strong reasonably, but it also has its own issues. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me? Fatou, it's like slugging at your end. It's like I am ahead of you guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hold on. Let me see let me see. Go ahead. I think I just had to.
Okay, all right. So Usman was arrested here in January 2017. I mean, you remember in September 2016, Usman had issues with Jammeh. This was never public. It was never announced why. It was never publicly explained why, whether from Jammeh's side or from Usman's side. We just were there and heard that the interior minister had left the country, and it was reported online. You remember those days, everybody gets their news from online mostly. And so, Usman went to Senegal, and from Senegal, he left for Sweden, and from Sweden, he went to Switzerland. And in Switzerland, I think at the time he had a visa on his, he had a visa, a Switzerland visa, and he came here for his asylum procedure. So when he arrived here, the international human rights organization called Trial International came to learn of his presence here, and they wrote, submitted a criminal complaint against him at the office of the Swiss Attorney General. And the Swiss Attorney General considered worthy of something worthy to pursue, and they arrested Ousman. And since then, he has been held in pre-trial detention, and investigations were ongoing until now, January 8th. But 7 years later, then the trial began. So we are in the 10th day of the trial. So Ousman faces crimes against humanity. There are 10 Gambian plaintiffs who have brought the case alongside the Swiss Attorney General's office. So Ousman is accused of torture, murder, false imprisonment, rape, deprivation of liberty, and among others, perpetrated either by him, but mostly in complicity with many people under the 22-year rule of Jammeh. And so that's the state of affairs. So Ousman, since the beginning of the trial, we've had a number of testimonies. The alleged crime spread between 2000 to 2016. So we know we are dealing with the alleged murder of Al-Mamu Mane. You remember, even before the TRRC, there were allegations that Ousman, when he was the state guard commander at the time, had participated and led an operation that eventually killed Al-Mamu Mane extrajudicially. And also there were allegations that after the murder of Al-Mamu Mane, Al-Mamu's widow was subjected to several abuse, including rape by Ousman between periods 2000 to 2005, different intervals. Also that Ousman was allegedly involved in that oversaw the interrogation and torture of detainees in 2006. You remember there was a coup, Lantom Bantamba and others, Nunduri Cham's coup, and Ousman was at the time Interior Minister, I believe. No, Inspector General at the time, because this was around March. Ousman became Interior Minister in 2006, but in November or thereabout. So Inspector General that he presided over, not presided over, but he participated in a panel that oversaw the torture and interrogation of detainees like Bunja Darboe, this guy Yaya Darboe, and others. You remember 2006 coup plotters. But also, you know, three journalists actually would be arrested that year too. You remember Lamin Fati, the one who won a case against Gambia at the ECOWAS court.
Yes.
Madi Sise, Honorable Madi Sise, Serakunda West, I believe, and also Musa Sedikan. All of these guys were working at the Independent newspaper at that time, 2006. This would have been March to April, and so those case also is here, and Musa and Mahdi are actually part of the plaintiffs. So, and then, you know, there were among the people who are allegedly involved in the coup, those are also civilian and military officials. For Mahdi and others, theirs is relating to a publication that they have made at the time, allegedly led to publication they've made at the time. And so, then later on, we dealt with the issue of 2016, you know, the death of Mr. Solo Sandeng in custody. You remember Nogo Njai had claimed that he had seen Ousman at the paramilitary headquarters where they were initially taken to be processed before they are handed over to NIA, that Ousman was involved in issuing a directive that they should be taken to the place, which ultimately is the NIA. and they were taken to NIA. That's what they were severely alleged, not allegedly anymore. They were tortured because High Court has actually upheld this, that torture occurred, and that is why torture occurred, and that's what resulted to the death of Solo Sandeng. We know High Court already upheld that. Now, what was not, what's currently in contest is Usman's participation or otherwise, whether in conduct or by order. And Usman had maintained his position throughout, that he was neither involved in issuing orders, nor was he involved in any panel that oversaw any abuse of authority or torture or anything unlawful. So Usman actually maintained complete innocence throughout this process, in everything. You know, the issue of the execution in 9 dead row inmates in 2012 also came up today, and Usman had maintained that he was admitted 2 years, but that was merely to issue to hand over a warrant to the director of prison at the time, so that
what did he say? What did he say?
These executions can continue, can be carried out. And
what did he say about the? Let's start with the Almamu Mane case. What exactly did he say he knew about that incident? You know, all the allegations.
No, not much actually. I mean, what he said about Almamu's situation was that whatever happened at that time happened as part of his official functions, and he's under oath of secrecy right now. He cannot divulge what happened, and he's bound by that oath of secrecy. So Almamu's case, not much has been said.
What about the rape allegations, though? Because those are not part of his official duties. What did he say about the rape allegation level against him?
No, he had maintained that he had never at any point raped Binta, and that he maintained his complete innocence, and that you know, even with regards to Almamu, he had clarified certain things, such as the fact that he had no grievance, personal grievance against Almamu, and that and you know, Baba Job's issue also came up, and he had made it clear that he was not involved in the death of Baba Job in any way. You remember the oddly of, if you had been following TRRC, there was this one Lamin Sane who never appeared before the TRRC, but SFR read his statement. If you following the procedures, the proceedings, and Lamin Sane claimed, who was a body and oddly to David Colley at the time, claimed that you know, he was at the prisons when he was asked to go and guard Baba Job. Then David Colley called him to tell him that some prison officers soldiers are coming, but when they come, allow them access to Baba Job, because it would not be a good idea to resist them, just to paraphrase, but this is what he basically said. And so at the time, the considered opinion of Umar Jallo, who was part of those who executed Baba Job, because Oya confessed to killing Baba Job. Yeah. He was to be part of the people who killed Baba Job. And Oya said when they arrived at Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital, Sane saw them and said, "Okay, you have come. The guy is sleeping." So Oya said, and also expressed an opinion that Sane actually knew they were coming and was aware of what was happening. Sane maintained innocence, that he didn't know and that he didn't think what happened to Baba was right. But we were aware, of course, this came before the TRRC, that also there was an executive directive from State House that Baba should have been, you know, Baba was admired too, and he fell and had during an exercise, and they said he was taken to hospital. So he was moved from the main ward to a private ward, and that's where he was. That there was a deliberate plan to kill him, and that's why he was moved to private ward. Now there were allegations that Usman called David Colley to tell him to allow Nuha Baji was coming, who was leading that operations at the time, and that that David should ask whoever was that David should place a former a senior person there, guarding Baba, who is going to grant Nuha access when Nuha comes. So in other words, there was an explicit allegation that Usman was involved in the planning to execute Baba, and Usman denied complete knowledge of whatever transpired leading to Baba's death, and he denied he had not participated in calling David to inform him about the soldier coming, Nuha Baji. And so, yeah. And so those are incidents that we've had. And of course, there are other issues that are coming here and there, bits and pieces, such as statements he has made after the execution of 9 Dead Row. No, statement not he has made, but one that Interior Ministry has made, some newspaper video in Talending, where he had made this. Yeah, you can hear me?
Mustapha.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So there were also some, statements, some evidences that were presented in regards to some newspaper clippings that were of Jammeh's, some video recordings of Jammeh's statement in Talending, you remember, where he attacked Mandinkas and said some of them are going to go 5 feet deep, something like that. And, Usman took to the stage that place and had said that allegedly that protest, whoever carried out the protest would regret it, quote unquote. Usman had put a context to this, because Usman's considered view is that this context was misunderstood, because protests just happened in April 14 and 16, and that considering what Gambia had gone through regarding protest, April 2000, he made mention of that. That he thought that this is enough security concern to highlight when he's giving a speech as an interior minister to address security issues. And so that he said also that he addressed several security issues different times, different places during his time as Minister of Interior. Yeah, so these are some of the issues that we are dealing with right now.
I saw on yesterday's stall that we published this morning, something that, we have seen at the TRRC, a lot of people say, oh, it was an order from Jammeh. Usman said Jammeh ordered him to shoot. Can you tell us what exactly was he talking about, and at what context? And was it the April? It was the April protest, right?
Now, this is a very interesting note. Now, I said interesting because I think my considered view as a journalist, because we are here and we are just one tiny element in this whole thing. You have lawyers; they do what they do. They have their ways of presenting their case. We have our ways of telling our stories, and I think that based on the way stories are going, Usman had the most significant position that Usman had made throughout the trial was that he was Interior Minister, and that he is not involved in operational matters. He's involved in policy issues. Now, that's why this note became, no one wants to touch it for now, but in my considered view, it's a delicate issue, because particularly for Usman, because when the Swiss authorities raided Usman's residence, when he came here in his apartment, his asylum residence, they found this note allegedly in a suitcase. Now, throughout the trial, they've been asking Usman, do you have a note in a suitcase? Now, Usman has always been saying, Usman has always been saying, I have no note in a suitcase. But he has not been saying, I did not keep any note on me, or I did not keep any note in my house. He's always been only saying, I did not have a note in any suitcase. Do you see?
Wow.
And so,
what is the difference here? I did not.
Well, the difference is that you said I have it in a suitcase, and I said I don't have it in any note in a suitcase, which means I could have a note in my house, I could have it on my table, I could have it in my drawer. I mean, yeah. So he never said I never wrote any note. Now, yesterday, so he admitted when the court put the note on the screen, and Usman said, yes, this is my note. But he only vaguely said some part of it is true, the first part is true, the second part, the other parts are not true. Now, this is tricky because in the note you could see, I mean, I was struggling to read, but there are a few things you could make up. First thing he said, he wrote that I left Gambia, he went to Senegal, and that he could not stay in Senegal because Senegal was close to Gambia and they would come for him. He noted that there. And he also said that that Mbour, they followed me up to Mbour. Yeah. And he also said in the note that directive to shoot and kill April 14 and 16 protesters, but I declined. And he also said, directive to harass opposition and even to assassinate and not to issue permit. I refused. Didn't go down well with him. So he wrote it's like a shorthand. Journalists are writing shorthand, didn't go down with him. Order me to instruct the police to shoot and kill the April 2014 and 16 demonstration. I refused. Give directive for those arrested by police to be handed over to NIA, which I did. They were handed over to NIA that they report directly to him, that NIA report directly to him Jame, right? At the NIA, these people were tortured by the president, spec paramilitary forces called the black or junglers. The junglers and the NIA report directly to the president. So these are some of the things he wrote in the note. Now, the interesting thing is, Usman would not be specific on which part of this note is true and which part of the note is not true. But today he said his lawyer, because I made this as a headline yesterday, and today his lawyer asked a question regarding the part on order to kill, shoot and kill. April 14 and 16 demonstrators. And Usman said, no, this part was not true. But nevertheless, so the prosecution lawyer asked him, why would you intentionally put information in your asylum procedure which you know to be false? So Usman said Usman declined to answer that question. Because Usman also said he has put that information, but it's not true because it was meant for his asylum procedure. Now the prosecution argued that, but this information you put in the file is consistent with information that the Swiss prosecutors have found. For example, that you have handed the police arrested the April 14 protesters, and they handed them to the NIA. And that Usman was involved in the chain of command that led to that process. Do you follow? But Usman denied this completely, that he was not at the PIU at no point. He had made no directive for the protesters to be handed over to NIA. You see, and so those are critical details now. But had Usman agreed also that the content of the the content of the document is true, this is critical because throughout the trial, the most important defense strategy that comes from Usman is that he is in charge of policy issues and he is not in charge of implementation of operational matters, such as arrest, detention, decision to hand over detainees to NIA, allowing junglers to come to prison mile 2, blah, blah, blah. Because you remember, and in fact, he argued that from around 2006 up to 2016, the remand wing, the maximum security wing, was under the state guards. And so not effectively under the prisons, even though that seemed to be the case. Now, I mean, so had he admitted to have written the note, now we are just going into our own thinking. I mean, clearly Usman denied. That has to be made clear that the note, I mean, and it's not specific which part of the note is correct and which part is not correct. But the point is, had he accepted to have written the note, it would send a signal, it would send an understanding that in fact, Usman was also giving operational orders by Jammeh, because it is not the job of the interior minister to deploy soldiers to police to go and shoot and kill. That is the IGP. So if Jammeh instruct Usman to deploy police, that means that Jammeh could have also giving other operational orders to him to execute, and he would execute. And that would mean also Usman was in fact involved in issuing operational orders and not just policy, right? And so had he also acknowledged to have, as written on his asylum note, to have being owed directive to harass opposition and to even assassinate or not to issue permit, that will be problematic also, because issuing permit is also a responsibility lawfully under the Gambian laws of the IGP, not the interior minister. So admitting this would have also meant that Usman is involved directly on operational issues. So this is the note is and so the defense lawyers, interestingly, the prosecutors also don't want to push that hard, because lawyers have this ridiculous sentiment that don't ask questions you don't know answers to. Once you think that in your position you have acquired some doubt in the mind of the judges regarding something, if you are a defense attorney, you let it go. If you are a prosecutor, you do not also want to ask too many questions and create more doubts instead of more clarity. So the lawyers or the prosecutors didn't ask about the note, about which part of the note is true and which part of the note is not true. They leave it like that. The defense attorney only asks in respect to one thing, which is probably because of the story we wrote in relation to the directive to have, in relation to give the order to shoot and kill. Because that was problematic, because if you are instructed, if you are giving order to instruct the police to shoot and kill, then that would mean you have direct means to issue an order down the chain of command to the police, and not through, in fact, the IGP. It means that he was involved in operational issues. So this is I mean, what is clear is that it's still it still can go either ways. I think his lawyer, he has a brilliant lawyer who has put up a very good fight. I mean, throughout the process, Usman himself is very involved in his defense. You would appreciate his knowledge of the Gambia and also of the legal issues that surrounds him. I mean, it's been 7 years. And it's not a surprise that when he was asked what he would have done if he is freed, he said he's going to study law. And he has been involved in his defense. I mean, throughout the process, he seemed to have mastered the TRRC. He knows almost every testimony that concerns him by heart.
Wow.
He knows almost all the court issues where he's mentioned or that concerns his case by heart. He knows everyone who has mentioned him or implicated him by heart. And even though it's a difficult situation, I mean, sometimes this, you see him, some answers he gives are quite convenient. Like, for example, in TRRC, he would use TRRC evidences in his favor when it suits him. And when it doesn't suit him, like today, he said TRRC is not an investigation. TRRC was, I don't know how I can provide the actual code. So he's involved in those kind of things, but quite clearly, he's putting up a strong fight. And, it's a tough case. I mean, quite frankly.
What did he say about the independent, the shooting, the shooting, the data hydra case? Also, he was implicated in that too, right? The data hydra case.
No, that is not part of the cases that are currently here. But one interesting thing is that one interesting thing is that not all the cases that had happened in the Gambia, they just selected few cases, and so they intermit in the scheme of things, they slot in different issues to prove one thing, that oppression in the Gambia under Jammeh was systematic, it was widespread and systematic, and it was a deliberate government policy. So to prove that those elements, they needed to prove slot in here and there. Even the 2012 execution of death row inmates is not part of the charges as such, but it was brought in as part of the contextual elements, I mean, of the crimes against humanity. I mean, they needed to prove that there was a systematic policy of oppression, and that and that this was widespread and all of that. So it's a lot of things are being had here and there, back and forth, and prison conditions were also hard. Were also brought up. 2 prison officers were flown in to come and testify to the prison conditions. I mean, Usman has said that that he admitted that the prison conditions in the Gambia were notoriously substandard. That's his word, notoriously substandard. Of course, I noticed he had adjusted in the language a bit, that that it's not, today he said it's not the level of Switzerland, but we have improved. But one of the interesting things in relation to Mile 2, in relation to both detention and imprisonment, is that the torture was widespread, they said. And sorry, give me a second.
So all of this, I know you have a lot of people there to testify. You have Fatmata Jawara there, you have Modungom, you have Solo Sandang's family, I guess, also, and then you have Madi Sise is also there. How has the testimonies been? How Almamo Mane's wife is also, I think she was the first, right, to testify, if I'm not mistaken, according to your reports, one of the first people to testify. How has that testimonies been going? How emotional? Has the stories been consistent with what we have heard from the TRRC?
No, the interesting thing about testimonies here is that it's Switzerland. It's 5,000 kilometers away from the Gambia. And so some people who haven't talked about rape in the Gambia have talked about rape here. Some haven't, But at least I think I've seen an adjustment in some testimonies because I was reviewing all the testimonies before the TRRC, so I know who says what.
Yes.
And I know that there had been some adjustments in terms of the number of testimonies that were made. And I know notably there were instances when some have even said there were, even though they were protected, there was a protected witness before the TRRC who didn't speak of his rape in the Gambia, but spoke of it here. So those issues are there. It's emotional. Even Usman attests to that today. He said that he has heard the testimonies, and he thought what happened in some cases were unacceptable, and that it was horrific. He didn't use the word horrific. That's my word. But he said that the tortures were unacceptable, and so I'm sure he sat down and listened to Fatoumata Camara. I mean, I mean
April
those
2016
yes,
Camara,
those
right?
people were tortured. That is not everybody knows. I mean, even Usman's lawyer Philippe Kerr, he approached me and said, look, just as I expected a criminal attorney to say who is defending a client, that I think my client is innocent, though I believe these people were tortured. But I think that my client had no role in this. And of course, you expected Felipe to believe that. I mean, it's his job to believe that, and it's his job to defend Usman to the last dot of it, everything. So yeah, but the stories you hear here are actually horrific. I mean, people, they cry. I mean, even before they have their testimonies, they cry. I remember the first day when Binta Jamba was testifying, I saw a short break. I woke up to, because Fatoumata Camara actually was sitting behind Usman. It's barely 3 meters apart in a courtroom. And when she turned to face me, she came here with her granddaughter, who is also Fatou Camara, by the way. And so she told me, I saw tears dripping, and she told me, Mustapha, I never thought this day would come. And it was like, I mean, effortlessly. It's not like she's just crying like that, and it's a mixture of joy and frustration, or should you call it emotions? Maybe emotions in the form of anger. They've gone through a lot, and you could see even when Modungam was testifying, particularly the April 16 and 14, April 14 and 16, the torture was horrific. When Modungam was testifying, you could Fatou Camara and Fatoumata Jawara were both in tears. They couldn't hold their tears. Mahdi Cisse, who was not himself tortured, was also in tears. You remember, because Mahdi's son was tortured there and ultimately died.
Yeah.
Yes. So it was a horrific scene. I mean, and you just have to be here to listen to it, and they take you to it. You never get used to it, because some of these things we've heard from the TRRC, where you never get used to it. I mean, the consistency of things. I mean, when they tell you we are moved from here to here, I mean, some of the elements they give you, like people they mention who have intervened at different levels. When we got here, this is what happened. They tell you things from inside, and this is a credible story. Now, what is in context is whether Usman was involved in that or not. And Usman himself admitted that, and his lawyer also admitted that this is in context, that my client was not involved, and it's going to be a few days to prove or disapprove that, because we have these sittings until January 30th.
So generally, what is Usman's mood in court? I mean, is he remorseful? Does he even feel a little sorry for taking part? I mean, if he's denying that he didn't take part in any of this, of course, you could say he's sorry for that. But what is his mood in the courtroom? How is he looking? Is he looking remorseful? Is he looking sorry? What is his mood when he answers
Well,
questions?
I think
What is his? Yeah.
I would reserve my opinion, personal opinion, on whether I think he was remorseful or not. He said personally himself that he is sorry and that they went through this, and that he has expressed sentiments that seem to communicate that he's sorry. But most all the victims I have had interactions with regarding what they think of his comportment, they think he still exhibits arrogance, that he is not sorry, and that that this is not a guy who accepted responsibility, that he participated, even if had he not participate in violations directly, he participated in a government that oppressed so many
Yes.
and destroyed so many lives. They didn't seem to think that Usman is remorseful. In fact, the day before, just today, no, yesterday, there was the lawyer of Usman, to prove that Usman was not on the panel that ultimately interrogated Nogoi, Solo Sandeng, and others at the NIA. He had wanted to play the video in court. The court overruled because that was going to be horrific for people who had gone through torture. I mean, that video was played in the High Court. It was even in the High Court. It was even in the High Court. It was a hugely emotional moment. People were crying all over the place, and he wanted to play a snapshot of the audio just to prove a point. And I think mistakenly, because we are in the press room, but what I got communicated to was mistakenly one of Usman's counsel mistakenly pressed the video, and it started.
Wow.
Before it's overruled. It takes just few seconds. And Fatoumata Jawara couldn't keep it. When she came to express her final message regarding the closing statement, she made a point that what happened in the Gambia can be forgiven, and people are willing to forgive. Well, people cannot forgive if people who carried out these sentiments, who carried out this abuse, are still not remorseful. In her view, Usman's team had not shown any remorse, and that I think Usman even made reference to this today, that she had felt responded, reciprocated. And to say that he's also emotionally felt what they had gone through. And when Fatoumata said that, Fatoumata argued, why would they not play where we are tortured? Why would they not play them torturing us, but instead they want to play where the panel, just the panel, showing the panel that we were wrong, and they're not going to play where we were tortured. Why is that? So she was very emotional about it, because this thing is a hugely emotional matter. I mean, a lot of things happen in Mile too, Fatou. I mean, while I am sitting here, I was having back and forth with some of my colleagues, and I was telling them one of the things. I mean, this is not directly linked, and I think we all understand this, because in the Gambia, when you talk of issues of rape, we have a lot of very silly people. Sometimes you have people who deny this person is rape. I mean, you have very silly people in Gambia. I mean, this is true. We have to say it. I mean, people put out their credible stories of rape, and you have no evidence. You have people who just say this person is not rape, and they have zero evidence. And so, knowing that, I mean, there are a lot of people potentially, every female arrested by NIA has been raped, potentially. And I think that journalists should look into it. I'm just saying. I think that journalists try and do a detailed story on sexual violence that had been perpetrated in that country. And you asked me not to say that country, but it's that country. I'm not there right now. I'll be there after. I'll be there in February, so I'm not there right now. So it's that country. No, I'm seriously, Fatou. I mean, you hear people testify to violence, and you hear them say everything that happened in that place, we can't say it, and you know that there is something bothering these people that they can't talk about. And interestingly, I mean, this is also just to show that we also all human, and not just Sonko, even also people around Sonko are also human. So I've had time to chat with Sonko's daughter, who is also in our defense team, in his defense team, Sonko's daughter.
Whose daughter? Sonko's own daughter?
Yes, Sonko's own daughter is also in our defense team. She studied in England, in UK, and she's currently here. Yeah, so, and we had a time to chat, and she felt also the emotions and the sentiment of people who have testified, and hold the view that people were abused, that what happened was in the Gambia was bad, really. Of course, I would be surprised if she hold a contrary view. I mean, this thing is not, it's not a matter of evidence anymore. It's out in the open. But she hold the view that Sonko was not involved, and I can understand. I mean, I told her that she is divided between two worlds. I mean, the sentiment of her daughter and the factual, intellectual analysis of a lawyer. These two worlds blend in one, and see that. I mean, so, but just to say that, I mean, it's a tough fight, but in the end, it's also a trial where a Gambian comes to face a Gambian, and in the deeper sense of things, there is a win in the greater sense of justice. But in the sentimental, in the depth of our own human sentiments, I mean, there is still a loss that another Gambian is in trouble, even though tons of lives were destroyed a few years ago, and for nothing, really. So it's quite a complex matter here, and matters of human rights violations, whether in the past, particularly in our past, it's deeply emotional issues. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So generally, how would you say the process is going? Have all of the defendant, like the people who have come to testify, have they all testified yet right now, or is it just they're coming in bits and pieces? Who else are we expecting to testify?
Well, we are expecting a number of people to testify right now. So far, majority of them have testified. There are some whose name we have records of. Mm-hmm. There are some whose name we don't have records of. Those guys are invited here by the Swiss Attorney General's office. Mm-hmm. So those ones I don't have records of. But the plaintiffs, a number of them, majority of them have testified. Okay. Nogoi Njai was supposed to be here. Unfortunately, okay. Nogoi died. Yeah, but we know that Mahdi Cisse is coming to testify. Musa said he can testify today. Mahdi Cisse will testify tomorrow. I think all the people who are currently here with us have testified so far. But more people will be coming, and until the end of next week. Yes, until the end of next week. It looks like there is a Swiss efficiency at play. It's a lot of work going on, and maybe probably by the end of January we would close the hearing, and maybe would go home knowing probably there will be a verdict shortly after. So, but there is also a lot of documents to review, tens of thousands of documents, to go through, because it's not just the investigation reports in relation to the alleged crimes I have listed. It's also a series of investigation reports by UN, by Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, by not Transparency International, that's in lies with economic crimes, but different organizations, TRRC, government. So a lot of documents are submitted happen here, and it's a complicated case and complex one, and it could go both ways. But I think Sonko has a good fight.
You keep saying throughout the interview, you keep saying Sonko's team are putting up a good fight. They are really putting a good fight. Do you think the fight is good enough to save him from your perspective?
That's a very tough question. Would I bet on Sonko's side? I don't think so. I don't think so. I will not bet on his side. But I think that.
But the prosecution side, do you?
He believes in what is clear that he believes in his innocence, and his counsel believes in his innocence, or at least that's what we see, and his daughter believes in his innocence, and they are fighting to make sure that his innocence is eventually pronounced by the court. And so we will get there and we would see. But this is also a complex subject. Yeah. And like I said, a lot of things are coming back and forth. Now, in a larger number of cases, you could say the prosecutions have done quite a job to prove to the court that there was oppression in the Gambia. They've done quite a job to prove that. Quite a job towards proving that. I wouldn't say prove that, because it's only court that can say they've proved that. But towards proving that. There is still a huge gap to tying Sonko to that. You also need to prove that. You can't just say, we were in Gambia. We know if you work on that Jambe, you have to take orders. You have to know. It's more complex than that. You have to prove, and so that's not an easy fight. There is a village of lawyers against Sonko, but that's still not an easy fight. Village of lawyers, because all of the 10 plaintiffs have their lawyers. And Swiss Attorney General's office also has its own lawyers. So, but it's not. So
far, would you say there's overwhelming evidence, against him as the case proceeds? And someone is asking, but can someone put his money on his defense team, right?
I wouldn't put money on his side.
But do you think someone will? You wouldn't. Would you think someone will? You are a journalist, and I know you know.
Look, what is important right now? I think his defense. I think his defense will put their money, and that's important.
That's important.
Yes, important. I think his defense, based on what I see, they will put their money on Sonko. I wouldn't put my money on his side.
Yeah. Finally, as a journalist who has covered these courtrooms throughout the Gambia, you have been in so many, sometimes to report, sometimes to testify yourself. how would you say, what different experience are you seeing compared to what is normally happening in our course here? And of course, we know this is going to be a quick one, right? Something I think by the end of the month, there'll be a verdict, right? Compared to us, it takes longer. Of course, even though the investigations took about 7 years, but the case itself will not take that long, right? What would you say you can look at and say, it's a whole same system, or would you say there's some difference as to how procedures take place, in both countries?
Well, in terms of the way courts are held in the Gambia and the way this particular trial is held, it's completely different, because this one it's a local court, of course, but it has more, it has better access, for example, for journalists. It's a functioning institution. Gambian courts are not functioning institutions. You struggle to even have charge sheets. I mean, you go and photocopy somewhere. I mean, here you register and you get the indictment. You register with the court and you get an indictment. And of course, you will not be allowed to share the indictment, but as a journalist, you can utilize the content of the indictment. Now you can go to their website and they will send you emails of updates. Our courts have not done the most basic things, and I think we've discussed this sometime on Kerr Fatou. We don't keep proper websites. Even verdicts, you can't have access to them. There are some basic there are some basic things missing in Gambian courts. And I think if we are going to hold or try Jame-related crimes as complex as these ones, because imagine, Sonko is just one person. I mean, imagine if you have Jame in court, you're going to have a lot of stuff, to contend with. So Gambia needs to be very ready. I mean, institutionally, we need to be serious people. For now, we are not. And if we want to try Jame era crimes also, we have to adjust a bit. Of course, there will be the region coming to help in setting up a hybrid court, which will have a regional backing, and probably the help of the UN. So a lot of human resources will come to bear, but we need to adjust, and I think that's going to be essential. We need to adjust.
So we will get you back again, right on time after the verdict or before that. If something interesting comes, it will be good to update the viewers as to what is going on. But we want to thank you, Mustapha, for the daily updates, and we want to thank I want to say Malagen is partnering with New Narratives, right, for providing giving all of us coverages, all the media houses in the Gambia as to what is happening, and this has been really, really, really helpful. So we want to thank you for that. And of course, it's New Narrative, right? We also want to thank them for this, because Gambians, this is really, really very important for Gambia to know what is happening. And we didn't have this during the bylaw code. We relied on what was sent to us from the prosecution team and some of the people. This is really, really this is very important for us to have direct one of our journalists in the courtrooms giving us updates as to what is happening. So this is really, really important. I just hope these collaborations like this in the future continues. And we want to thank you for the daily updates.
All right.
And thank you so much, Mustapha. What's wrong? Mustapha is gone? Wow.
No, I'm still here.
Okay,
I'm still here.
Go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, no, I just said that it's good to be here. I mean, myself also, this trial has a lot of, Am I frozen?
No. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that I'm also happy to be here and to report back home for the Gambian media platforms. I think that this trial is very important and it has a lot of consequence. I mean, I was having a conversation with some Gambians back home, and I was telling them one of the reasons what excites me to cover this trial is that the charges against Sonko are charges that could be made against a lot of individuals, because with the exception of the 2000 alleged crimes, which is the alleged execution of Almamo and the rape of Binta Jama, almost all other charges that were brought against Sonko are alleged crimes committed in complicity or with participation of others. And those others are folks, some of whom are serving at the Gambia police, some are serving in foreign service, some are serving in anything that happens in Switzerland, it's going to have rippling tsunami effects in the Gambia. This is without doubt. Whether the Gambia government takes it seriously or not, that is their business. And now the victims have a hope in the fact that nobody relies on your government to dispense justice. If your government fails, you make sure they don't travel to universal jurisdictions. So if you commit a crime in Gambia, you better stay in Gambia. If you go to Germany, you will be arrested. If you go to US, you will be arrested. If you go to Switzerland, you will be arrested. If you go to any other part of the world where universal jurisdiction is active, you will be arrested. So you will be in prison in the Gambia.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Oh, that is huge.
Because even if you go to Senegal, if there is a goodwill in Senegal, they could just arrest you. And Senegal tried Habre, didn't they? Exactly. So now don't be in Gambia and be comfortable and that Gambia, I can commit a crime. When the government changes, Gambians are Gambia, no problem. No, Gambia, no problem, but Switzerland has a problem. And America has a problem. Other countries are, yes, definitely. And you get that, you will be arrested.
You will be arrested, definitely. I was going to let you go, but somebody just asked something, and I think it's very, very pertinent. Malang, thank you for that question. During the by-law trial, the prosecuting team said they didn't have enough collaboration from government. Do you see any collaboration in this one that the Ghana government is having with the prosecuting team in Swiss?
Yes, they have helped a great deal in putting together all the witnesses for the Swiss investigators. Of course, there was a request for mutual legal assistance from the court. We are yet to know the details of that. But yeah, so far, so good. They're cooperating as far as I know. But probably there may be details I may not be aware of. But so far, based on what I am aware of, they have helped a great deal in bringing this case to where it is.
It is. Wow. Thank you very much, Mustapha. What's your final message to the Gambians?
So yeah, I think I will be following the trial and we will keep updating, and hopefully after the trial we would also sit over the outcome and talk about its implications for the Gambia.
Yeah. That's true. Thank you very much, Mustapha. We'll definitely do that. Once we'll get more updates. In case something important also comes out, we will be able to have you on the platform just to share with the Gambians. But thank you so much for the updates, and of course your partners, new narrative, right? We have to thank them.
New narratives, yes.
New narratives for partnering with Malagen and giving us all the updates. And this is all the media houses, and this is very, very good. And we want to thank them for making that possible. Thank you very much, Mustapha. Yeah, I know you are 1 hour ahead of us, so go get some sleep and get prepared for tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. And of course, that brings us to the end of this interview. We want to thank Mustapha and earlier on Babucarr Camara. If you're watching, you know I'm wearing the national jersey. Let's see some love signs. If you are ready for the Scorpions to go sting tomorrow and win against the Guinea-Conakry. They kept calling us Petite Gambia. We have to go back there tomorrow and win big so that we can just get comfortable in our group and qualify, after winning again against Cameroon. And I think we can do it. The entire nation should pray for the team and show support to the national team for coming this far, and to thank you all. And of course, like I said earlier, if you're in the Gambia, please download the Yono Wallet app. And yes, I see Chad Holly Iam's love sign. Thank you. That is the sign for the Scorpions. Let's show them some love so we can have them tomorrow win against the Guineans. Thank you so much, Binet Bojang. Thank you so much, Malang and Rohi, Alaji, everyone watching. Thank you very much. Until we come your way next week, inshallah. And of course, tomorrow when we win, we'll be celebrating because I think we are going to win. Alima, the manager, thank you very much for watching. Always engaging in the comment section. I see your comments. Fanta Tarawale, thank you so much for watching, and we appreciate you all. See you all tomorrow, inshallah. When Gambia wins, we will be live here to give a match analysis as to what happened. I think we'll be celebrating. Thank you so much. Thank you, Binet. No bread for you. What? We are going to win, definitely. Thank you. Inshallah, we're winning, Rohi. Thank you so much, guys. See you again next week, Thursday. But inshallah, tomorrow, we should be back here tomorrow to celebrate when the Scorpions win. Until we come again, good night to you all. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Airport Residency Estate is a gated community located in Old Yundum, proudly developed by Swami India, perfect for all looking for a quiet life with luxury amenities within an enclosed setting. When talking about the benefits of living in a gated community, safety and security is top on the list. They allow extra privacy, take away the hustle of unwelcome solicitors, and create a safe haven for children to play in a trusted environment without traffic or speedy vehicles. A great sense of community develops through the meeting at a controlled communal leisure facilities, offering an integrated lifestyle. A green environment and well-managed communal areas are keys to higher home standards, elevated quality of life, and better property value, should you consider home reinvestment in the future. Added to all is the location, just next to the airport and reconstructed main road, yet tucked in the tranquility of nature. Our purpose is one: your satisfaction. Contact us. Let us help you build your dream home in the Gambia.
yiriwa men kafatan na tarambulolu to nga GIA cargo complex parendile pour ka julaya sone yandi kadungoni funti bunda na doko sembentu ya Banjul International Airport to men si nyafa si moluma melka fengolu ki bantala bankolu kan anin julandingolu fana foysi sulan na cargo doko le bang katu masingolu be mbulule ikafo me ye forklifts melka selendiro ni jindiro ke bagasolu la melbe funti kan waranto ka dunnan na warehouse lu kono nga dinkira sumayari ngolu fana sotole ifula milla fano mu metari kemeleti karo bela adun isi cargo bagasolu tanole men sita fo ton tan woro ila sumaya fana futata tembeleto men ka fendolu mabono fo ikana tinya fo sene fengol lombang domori fengolu waranto jata kende ani bori ma fengolu cargo bagasolu la taradula kendo asulata jamani laban korosir langolu lela na double view x-ray korosir la masingolu aka cargo bagaso kono jubele komi cargo doko sartolu ya landi nyameng nyin double view x-ray amu jamani laban rapid scanaleti men ka karafula korosiro keno cargo sifa bela wati kilngo kono to na doku lalo imu ayata karandingol leti miliyela doku no iframansata cargo doku na tamandiri nyato na doku la betea wayem futandi RA3 makamoleto men satin fo nse cargo bagasolu kinole kata UK aning EU bankolu kan GIA ka hakili tenkungo dila na doku to ite nyina la men.
We are happy to announce the launch of our new logo. We have evolved since our incorporation in 1997, and it is time to refresh our new look to reflect who we are today. Before I reveal our new look, however, walk with me while I take you through our journey of the last 25 years. Trust Bank was incorporated on July 3rd, 1997, and began operations on October 1st, 1997. Following the collapse of the parent company of its predecessor, Meridian, the CBG stepped in and recapitalized the bank and held the shares in trust, thus the name Trust Bank. In 1999, the first investors who responded to the IPO and paid $1.50 per share received their maiden dividend of 50 bututs per share. In 2000, the bank fully paid back its investment by declaring another dividend of $1.20 bututs per share, making it a cumulative dividend per share of $1.70, which was 20 bututs above the purchase price. Between 2002 to date, share capital has increased from $27 million to $200 million, indicating that the bank has grown organically by plowing back profits to increase capital, while at the same time paying dividends to shareholders. The bank was listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange in November 2002, being the first ever cross-border listing in the sub-region. Now let's talk about awards. The bank was awarded the insignia of the National Order of the Republic of the Gambia, ORG, in the year 2010 by His Excellency the President of the Republic of the Gambia. During the past years, the bank has received so many national and international awards. Banker Magazine, 6 times. Global Finance, 6 times. Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, 5 times. We began operations with 3 branches. Now, we have 18 branches and 20 ATMs and counting. On digital services, mobile app, check. Online banking, check. Transaction alerts, check. Watch this space. We've got more coming. Creating employment, yes, we've got that too. 400 and counting. And we take great care of our people too. Medical insurance, life insurance, private and state pensions, annual pilgrimages for both Muslims and Christians, training, yes, we do them all. One team, one family, one goal. That's the Trust Bank spirit. On corporate social responsibility, we have spent over $50 million in various causes. We care, and so we share. Over the years, we have paid over $1.6 billion to our shareholders, which translates to a whopping $20 per share and counting. Phenomenal returns for our shareholders who purchased at $1.50. Corporate taxes, over $1 billion is paid. Our journey started with a vision to create the kind of company that delivers quality services and innovative products with an inspired team dedicated to serving our customers, our environment, and our communities at large in the most caring manner. We remain fully committed to delivering excellent services to each of our stakeholders, customers, employees, shareholders, and partners. So, we remain true to who we have always been. As we look forward to greater achievements, we are rebranding to reflect who we are today and the future that we inspire. Our new logo has been designed to visually demonstrate our Gambian heritage and the sophisticated nature of the bank. We are moving away from the navy and gold-colored parallelogram-shaped logo to our baobab tree with a rising sun in the background. The striking outline of a baobab tree at sunrise is a familiar sight to anyone who has spent time in the Gambia. Our new logo and visual identity are inspired by our core values and spirit of being a pioneer in providing a unique banking experience. It is a completely new look that better matches the transformation we have made as a company. But we remain your trust bank. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my singular honor to present to you our new logo and corporate identity.
Every day is a new opportunity to make sure our first impressions are always our best and to see possibilities on the horizon, to make our facilities and services more accessible and find freedom all around us. With a location proximity to active markets, with a liberal air transportation policy, that daily pursuit is how we turn everyday opportunities for you. For all destination marketing support, customized packages for new existing airlines and operators, and for a highly ranked tourist destination, the Gambia Civil Aviation Authority is here to serve. We regulate air transport, operate and manage BIA technical requirements, merged with commercial considerations. We have experienced and well-trained aviation professionals to cater for your needs. For investment opportunities in building airport hotels, shopping malls, playground for children, do contact us on 4472-831, 4472-893. Gambia Civil Aviation Authority. We go beyond daily.